Hello everyone, welcome to GKTodays live quiz for Polity. Today's lesson is on the Union Council of Ministers. So let us begin. Which of the following are not mentioned in the Constitution? 1. Council of Ministers. 2. Collective responsibility. 3. Resignation of ministers. 4. Office of the Deputy Prime Minister. Select the correct answer from the codes given below and your time starts now. And the correct answer is 3 and 4. That is, resignation of ministers and office of the Deputy Prime Minister is not mentioned in the Constitution. In fact, in 1990, when the appointment of Devilal as Deputy Prime Minister was contested as unconstitutional, the Supreme Court held that the oath was valid as such a position is descriptive and hence doesn't violate the Constitution. Consider the following statements. Number 1, the President cannot function without the Union Council of Ministers. Number 2, the Solicitor General is the highest legal authority of the Union government. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is only 1 is correct. So 2 is incorrect because the highest legal authority is the Supreme Court and the highest law officer is the Attorney General. And as per the Article 74 of the Constitution, any exercise of executive power by the President without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers is unconstitutional and void. Thus, the President cannot function without the Union Council of Ministers, which is why statement 1 is correct. According to the Article 74 of the Constitution, which of the following statements relating to the advice tendered by the ministers to the President of India is correct? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is A, that it shall not be inquired into in any court. Article 74 states that the President shall act under the advice of the Council of Ministers led by the Prime Minister. However, the President may require such advice to be reconsidered, and such reconsidered advice should always be acted upon by the President. And it also states that no court can inquire into such an advice. Which of the following constitutional acts has or have made the decisions of the Council of Ministers binding on the President of India? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is option A, 42nd and 44th Amendment Acts. So these changes were made into the Article 74 of the Constitution for the advice of the Council of Ministers to become binding on the President. Which of the articles of the Constitution of India are relevant to analyzing the constitutional provisions that deal with the relationship between the President and the Council of Ministers? Your time starts now. And the correct answer is option B. So Articles 74, 75 and 78 along with Article 77 are what define the relationship between the President and the Council of Ministers. So Article 74 defines the intimate and confidential relationship between the President and the Council of Ministers. Article 75 declared the appointment and service is at the pleasure of the President. Article 77 defines all orders are passed in the name of the President, while Article 78 describes that the President shall be communicated of all decisions made by the Council. Assertion. Collective responsibility of the Cabinet signifies the unity and coordination among the members of the Council of Ministers. Reason, it is the prerogative of the Prime Minister to select or drop a member of the Cabinet. And your time starts now. And the correct answer is option B. That is, both the statements are correct. However, the reason statement is not actually the reason for the assertion statement. So, collective responsibility is not because the Prime Minister chooses or drops a member of the Cabinet. In fact, the idea of collective responsibility is so that each minister must stand by a Cabinet decision even if they had disagreed during the time that the decision was made. This is to have a unified front. Furthermore, the ministers are responsible to the parliament elected by the people, that is the Lok Sabha, as is the rule of a democracy. In which of the following provisions of the Constitution of India is the principle of collective responsibility enshrined? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is option A, Article 75. Article 75 clearly states that the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. They own joint responsibility to the Lok Sabha for their acts of omission and commission. They work as a team or sing together. If the Lok Sabha passes a no confidence motion against the Council of Ministers, all ministers must resign, including the ministers who are from Rajya Sabha. Which among the following features of the Constitution of India is indicative of the fact that the real executive power is vested in the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is option D, parliamentary democracy. India is a parliamentary democracy and the Council of Ministers are chosen from the elected or nominated members of the parliament. They stand responsible to the elected house of the parliament, that is the Lok Sabha. Which of the following is not correct in relation to the Council of Ministers? And your time starts now. So the incorrect statement is option C, that is, their working is as per the provisions in the Constitution. In fact, there is no provision in the Constitution for the legal responsibility of a minister. It is not required for an order by the President for a public act be countersigned by a minister. In fact, Article 74 mandates such advice may not be questioned in any court. The executive power of the Union is vested in who? Your time starts now. And the correct answer is the President of India. Constitutionally, the powers of the Union is vested in the President and all orders are passed in his name. However, as it is binding for the President to act according to the advice of the Union Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister, that makes the Council the de facto head, led by the Prime Minister again. That's all for this quiz. Do mention your scores in the comments, and if you like this quiz, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.